I don't condone Rogers' conduct, and I hope Psycho Stu can forgive me, myself. You know, it's hard for me to talk about it, but you know, I'm just keeping 100. You know, I feel bad about what happened to Psycho Stu.
Y'all, this Rampage Jackson story just went left in the worst way possible. He's now staring down a $40 million lawsuit after a wrestling stunt turned into one of the ugliest beatdowns caught on livestream. What went down that night shocked everyone who saw it. But here's the thing, it's not just about some fight gone wrong. We're talking about a former Army vet left hospitalized, accusations of attempted murder, Rampage getting dragged as a failed father, and now an internal firestorm that could cost him everything he's built. And if you thought the story ended with Raja throwing punches, no, it gets way deeper. Because behind the hospital reports and lawsuits, we've got promoters pushing shady setups, Rampage himself blaming racism in the media, and even streamers like Myron refusing to bash Raja on air. The whole thing is messy, dramatic, and way bigger than anybody thought when the cameras first caught Raja storming that ring. And before y'all jump to conclusions, just know this isn't some random street fight. The fallout is about to touch Rampage's career, his money, and even his legacy in MMA. So let's break this all the way down. Alright, so boom, here's where it all started. On August 23rd, 2025, Raja Jackson, Rampage's son, showed up at the Knox X Pro Wrestling Academy, where they had a show in Los Angeles. At first, folks thought he was just there to watch, but cameras on his Kick livestream caught him lurking backstage, talking about how he was gonna get his lick back on one of the wrestlers. And that wrestler was Stuart Smith, better known as Psycho Stu, a retired Army veteran who used wrestling to cope with PTSD. And Stu was in character when he cracked Raja in the head with a beer can.
What, you don't know me?
Hell no. Yeah.
Hey, I think that's a little.
Oh, you don't sell it? He's not a fucking worker, bro. Calm down.
Yeah, what the fuck was that?
You're good.
What the fuck was that?
You don't sell it? Dude, he's not a fucking
Bro.
worker, bro.
Now, in pro wrestling, that's normal. It's called working the gimmick. But the problem is, Raja wasn't a trained wrestler. He's an MMA fighter, and he took it personal. But what happened next had the crowd horrified. Raja stormed into the ring mid-match, slapped Psycho Stu to the mat, mounted him, and threw over 20 punches straight to his face. Witnesses say Stu was out cold after the slam, and by the time the security pulled Raja off, blood was coming out of Stu's ears. But it didn't stop there, because Raja walked out of the venue ranting on his live stream, bragging about how he got his payback. Minutes later, he got a call telling him that Stu had flatlined in the ring. And Raja's cold response, "My bad."
Hello?
Double leg that motherfucker and start welding. I just saw the video.
Shit pissed me off though, Andre.
I understand that, but now they can't wake the nigga up. He's fucking in the ring, fucking flatline, bro.
My bad.
Now, for fans, that wasn't just a fight, it looked like an attempted murder. One fan wrote, "If this wasn't staged, what Rampage Jackson's son allegedly did is disturbing. Even if disrespected, blindsiding someone in a wrestling setting in a ring was reckless, not defense. Now his freedom could be lost." And at that point, LAPD was already investigating. Stu was in critical care, and Raja's career, not to mention Rampage's reputation, was about to unravel in real time. Now, once this all blew up, everybody was waiting to see what Rampage Jackson himself would say. And his first move was to hit X, trying to clear the air before the media completely buried his son. "I want to clear up the misinformation about my son Raja. I've been confirmed that the wrestler Stuart Smith, aka Psycho Stu, is awake and stable. Raja was unexpectedly hit in the side of the head by him moments before Smith's match. Raja was told that he could get his payback in the ring. I thought it was a part of the show. It was bad judgment and at work that went wrong. Raja is an MMA fighter, not a pro wrestler, and had no business involved in an event like this. I don't condone my son's actions at all. He suffered a concussion from sparring all days ago and had no business doing anything remotely close to physical contact. As a father, I'm deeply concerned with his health and the well-being of Mr. Smith. That being said, I'm very upset that any of this happened, but my main concern now is that Mr. Smith will make a speedy recovery. I apologize on his behalf and to Kick for the situation. Yeah, that was Rampage trying to play peacemaker, acknowledging his son was wrong, but also pointing out how shady the setup was. But a couple days later, Rampage came back with a way more emotional post. Say what you want about me, twist my words all you want. Hopefully none of your kids ever bad enough to have people judge your parenting. When all is said and done, when justice takes place, no matter what happens, I'll still be a parent that loves all his kids. I'm allowed to complain about the racism. 2 human beings were involved in this incident, but hey, it's the internet. Be yourself. Now here he wasn't just defending his son, he was defending himself as a father and pulling race into the conversation. But that only made the backlash louder, especially when MMA Guru and the other commentators accused him of dodging accountability. Still, Rampage's overall stance was clear. He's ashamed of what Raja did, but he's not going to abandon his son when the world is calling him a criminal. But once the dust settled, things got way uglier for Raja. What started as a wrestling stunt gone wrong is now sitting in the LAPD's desk as a criminal case. Police confirmed that they were called to the Sun Valley venue that night, and Raja is under investigation for what could become felony assault charges. But the real bombshell? Stewart Psycho Stu Smith's family and legal team are preparing a $40 million civil lawsuit. They claim Raja's reckless attack not only caused life-threatening injuries, but also ended Stu's ability to wrestle and make a living. According to reports, Stu's wife, Contessa, said this incident not only wrecked his career, but is now threatening their family's financial survival. But let's not forget, Stu is a U.S. Army veteran, battling PTSD himself, and wrestling wasn't just a payback for him, it was therapy. But now he's lying in a hospital bed with broken facial bones, missing teeth, and doctors warning of a difficult recovery ahead. Well, the lawsuit isn't just about recovering medical bills, it's about setting an example. Promoters are being dragged in too because Raja revealed that he was allegedly told by organizers to hit Stu as a part of the storyline.
Tell you guys this, they told me to hit him and just leave. Somebody who pulled me off of him will leave. I'm telling you, I'm gonna hit him as many times as I can. Watch. No, they didn't tell me to fake hit him. They said I could hit him for real. Yeah, they allowed me to hit him for real. If he hits me back for real, I don't give a.
And that's where it gets real murky. If true, the blame spreads beyond Raja, but the lawsuit is still gonna target the one who threw the punches. And remember, lawsuits like this don't just drain the accused, they drain their families. Fans already speculated that Rampage's entire fortune could be on the line. One fan even tweeted, Rampage Jackson and his son will have zero money after the lawsuits are done. On top of the lawsuit, Kick permanently banned Raja's channel after the stream, cutting off one of his main money sources. And if LAPD moves forward with attempted murder charges, Raja could be looking at years behind bars. Well, Stewart Smith, known to fans as Psycho Stu, wasn't just another wrestler taking bumps for a crowd. He's a U.S. Army veteran who turned pro wrestling as therapy to deal with PTSD. And wrestling gave him a stage, a family, and a way to escape. And that's why this attack hit so hard, because it ripped away more than his health. It ripped away his outlet.
Pro in 2009. I had just got out of the military, probably about 6 months earlier. I got out of the military, I joined Knox Pro, because I needed something to focus on. I needed something to help me adjust back into civilian life. A lot of veterans, it's hard for them to readjust into civilian life coming from the life of the military. I'm an American soldier that suffers from PTSD. Being in front of a crowd, it doesn't give me as much anxiety and aggression as I thought it would.
Witnesses say Stu was choking on his own blood and teeth as wrestlers tried to save him. But by the time his brother Andrew gave the first Facebook update, Stu was in critical care with severe injuries to his head and a long recovery ahead. He's conscious now, but the doctors made it clear his wrestling days and career might be over. Stu's wife, Contessa Patterson, quickly stepped up for her family. She launched a GoFundMe explaining that this assault didn't just cause major physical harm, it shattered their financial stability. Wrestling was Stu's livelihood, and now the bills are piling up. Within days, fans had raised over $150,000 to support his recovery. And the emotional weight? Heavy. Patterson wrote, Stuart Smith is a U.S. Army veteran who used wrestling as an outlet to deal with his PTSD. This incident has not only caused major physical harm, but will also disrupt his career inside the ring and outside of it. Well, that message hit fans hard because what Raja did wasn't just reckless, it robbed a man of the one thing that helped him heal from trauma. And the worst part, Stu reportedly apologized to Raja backstage before the incident even escalated, thinking they had squashed it.
I appreciate it.
I didn't know. I thought you were for camera.
I get it.
We're working out. Well, he's gonna come out on your mat, Zeus. I know you keep thinking we're working. We're always working.
I get it. Yeah. I get it now. Now you
know what I'm saying, Zeus? We're always working.
Instead, Raja went on live saying, I'm not playing no games. I'm gonna hit him as many times as I can. Watch. Moments later, he made good on that threat. Now Stu's family is not just facing months of hospital care, they're staring at a long legal battle too. And every update from his brother or wife fuels even more outrage online. The moment clips of Raja's attack hit social media, it was a wrap. Fans weren't holding back. One viewer wrote, Dude, what the F did this man do to deserve this? Rampage Jackson's son has lost it. Another blasted Rampage directly. I for one am shocked that Rampage Jackson raised a violent psychopathic scumbag with no impulse control. Straight to jail. And that backlash didn't just stop at Raja. People started calling out Rampage as a father, saying his parenting is what made Raja snap. And some even accused him of passing down his own anger issues, calling Raja a psychotic nutcase who was just acting out his father's rage. Meanwhile, Cake wasted no time banning Raja's channel after the disturbing live stream. And that was a big deal because streaming was one of Raja's main sources of income, and overnight he went from being a semi-relevant MMA name trying to carve out a niche online to being a banned problem child with a zero platform. Even the wrestling industry turned on him. KnockX Pro Academy released a statement calling the attack selfish and reprehensible, calling in 17 years of shows they've never seen something this heinous, and they publicly apologized to fans for what happened. But one of the most surprising twists came from streamer Myron, who got blasted for going soft on Raja. When his chat pressed him to tear Raja apart, he snapped. Rampage is a friend of mine. I'm not about to F and bash his son on the internet for views. F y'all BA names.
Like, Rampage is a friend of mine, bro. I'm not about to bash his son on the internet for views. Like, fuck y'all bastards, bro.
Well, the defense sparked another round of outrage, and fans accused Myron of being biased and protecting someone who nearly killed a man on live stream. But at the same time, others respected him for not chasing clout at a friend's expense. And this is where the conversation shifted. Raja wasn't just a hothead kid anymore. He was being framed as a danger to society, and Rampage's circle was getting dragged for enabling him. Now, at first, Rampage tried to play the calm father, apologizing, saying he didn't condone Raja's actions and asking fans to pray for Psycho Stu's recovery. But once the backlash turned towards him, his tone flipped. During a live stream, Rampage made it clear he was sick of the death threats and the way that the media was spinning his son's actions. He specifically called out MMA Guru, accusing him of using the situation to push racist narratives. People like MMA Guru, that guy is supposed to be some kind of journalist, and his racism came out. His racism showed. It's 2025, people do ish, some people F up, it shouldn't turn into race. But MMA Guru didn't hold back either. He fired back on X. I call an attempted murder a dumb animal. Rampage calls me a racist for it? It's 2025? Yes, it's 2025. Focus on the attempted murder of your son. Failure of a dad? Not what names I call him. Your own mindset is probably what made your son bullyable by teenagers. And that exchange definitely set a tone. Rampage's critics started framing him not as a grieving father, but as someone dodging accountability by pulling this race card. And the internet ate it up. Memes, clips, and threads tearing him down spread fast. The fallout didn't just stay online either. Sponsors and MMA outlets began distancing themselves quietly, dropping Rampage's name from promotional materials. And the whispers were clear. Nobody wanted their brand attached to a potential attempted. At the same time, Rampage doubled down on one message. He doesn't condone Rage's actions, but he refuses to abandon his son when the whole world is against him. That loyalty as a father is admirable to some, but to others, it looks like enabling. Now here's where things get real scary for the Jackson family. Rage isn't just fighting for his freedom, he's fighting against a system that could bury him for decades. Criminal charges, LAPD already confirming they're investigating. If prosecutors decide this wasn't just an but an attempted murder, Raja could be staring down 10 to 20 years in prison. And with the live stream evidence plus fan clips circulating everywhere, his defense is already in a tough spot. $40 million lawsuit, civil court isn't going to be any lighter. Between medical bills, lost income, and pain and suffering, Stu's legal team is pushing for tens of millions. And guess what? Even if Raja doesn't have that kind of money, they can still go after Rampage's assets as part of a family liability argument. Now, career fallout is looking like Raja's done in streaming, kick banned and permanently. His MMA career pretty much toast. No promotion wants to touch a fighter whose name is tied to a near-death beatdown on live camera, and the ripple effect could stain Rampage's own legacy. That man was once one of UFC's most charismatic champions, but now headlines about him are less about knockouts in the octagon and more about his son facing prison and him clapping back at fans online. And this is why speculation is running wild. Could Rampage be forced to sell properties just to cover legal fees? Could Raja try to claim promoters set him up to dodge full responsibility? And most of all, can Rampage ever repair his image as a fighter, a father, and a public figure after all of this? Because right now, no matter what he says, the narrative is spiraling out of his hands. So let's recap, y'all. Rampage Jackson's son Raja went from kick streamer trying to make a name for himself to a man facing felony charges, a $40 million lawsuit, and permanently banned from streaming. The Psycho Stu, a veteran and a fan-favorite wrestler, is left fighting through a brutal recovery, and the wrestling MMA worlds are dragging both Raja and Rampage into the mud. Rampage himself, well, he's standing in the fire, defending his son, blaming the system, and clapping back at media voices like MMA Guru. But whether you side with him or not, one thing's for sure, two things for certain. The scandal is far from over, and LAPD pressed charges, so Raja could be locked away for years. And if Stu's lawsuit sticks, Rampage could lose a massive chunk of his fortune too. And this isn't just another fight story, it's the kind of fall from grace moment that can change legacies forever. And the scariest part, we're only seeing the beginning. Promoters, sponsors, and even Rampage's other kids could get dragged into this storm before it's all over. But what do y'all think? Is Raja just a young fighter set up by shady promoters, or did he cross the line into something dark? And is Rampage defending his son out of loyalty, or is he blind to the damage that this is all causing? Drop your thoughts and comments below, because I'm reading all of them. And don't forget to hit that like button and of course subscribe, because you don't want to miss the next update.